So I have 34 minutes left in the audiobook of Moxie, and I just it's just so good.
I don't like being mean, but I will run from a fight.
And I hate to be like a bitch crying on the internet, but I'm gonna be a bitch crying on the internet because it's just so good and it's just so I just love girls supporting girls. I'm very excited to watch the movie. I've collected myself. This is the cut of the video where if I decide I actually don't want, proof of me crying over this book on the internet, this is the version that I will include. I've got 34 minutes left in the audiobook of Moxie, and it's just set apart. In general, I've really been, obviously very emotionally tied to these characters. If you were ever a girl in high school, in, I was gonna say in America, but I don't know. It's probably not just America, it's probably everywhere. That's just reality. But yeah, if you've had that experience, then you know what they're talking about. So it's just I'm feeling the feels. It feels heavy. It's not I don't want to say it's a heavy book. Like it doesn't read like a heavy book. It reads like it's lighthearted, but it's not. It's about very serious things, and I just love it. I just really love it so far. Um, and I'm really excited to watch the movie because that's what this is gonna be. I'm gonna watch the movie, compare it to the audiobook. I did looked into who was in the movie, or I think I just looked up the movie to see what year it came out or something like that. And I saw that for Seth, which is the love interest in the book, which mind you, that's not an important part of the book. It is, but it's not like a love story. It's about a girl. It's about girls supporting girls, and there just happens to be a guy. He's just Seth. You know what I mean? So anyway, so I see that Seth, the actor for Seth, is literally my childhood Instagram crush. So that's gonna do damage. How am I supposed to focus on the plot? My crush on him? I got lipstick on my hand. I think it's from when I was crying. Okay, my crush on him is he's just a figment of my imagination. I don't have a crush on Nico. I have a crush on his Instagram account. So that's why I'm saying that if you know anything about him, I want to hear it. I don't even follow him anymore. I haven't followed him for years, but I think about his face. I just think he's cute. That's all. So I'm just saying, don't come at me if you have some receipts, oh, this guy sucks. Maybe he does. I just think he's cute. And also, he's the main character in this movie. No! He's the main guy in this movie. Not anywhere close to the main character. I don't know why I jump scared myself like that. Okay, so I'm now gonna try to formulate my thoughts in the most spoiler-free way. Just brief, this is not a synopsis. I mean, I guess I can give a synopsis. Whenever I've talked to my friends, the way that I've basically explained this is that it's about a high school girl who's inspired by Bikini Kill, which is a band, if you don't know that, and the Riot Girl movement, which is feminist punk movement, to start a zine, which is a small DIY magazine that were commonly popular in the Riot Girl movement, and people still do them to this day. Blah blah blah. So anyway, she's inspired by Bikini Kill, the Riot Girl movement, her mom's rebellious past, to start an anonymous zine at her high school to combat sexism. That's the easiest way to put it. I mean, I feel like that's it. That's it. Anyway, so there's the synopsis. Now the rest is just word vomit. I mean, it's not word vomit. I kind of wrote it down, but it was word vomit when I wrote it down, and then I'm just gonna read it to you as I wrote it. So it's just regurgitated word vomit. Just so that I can put it out there before I watch the movie, and then we'll kind of go through it all. So anyway, so here's some of my thoughts on the movie, or here are some of my thoughts on Moxie, the book. First off, I think this book is so very relevant, so needed. I wish that I had this book when I was in junior high and high school. I feel like everyone in that age group should read this book. I really feel 5-star book, very needed. I feel like it's also really frustrating as an adult to read it because I want to think and I want to believe that there's just no shot that there's not a single adult in this world who, like, cared, you know? Like, there's just no way. There's just no way. And I understand the need for, like, leaving adults out of it, because the whole point is that it's these girls supporting these girls, and this is something that they built from the ground up. I get it. But, like, reading it as an adult, I'm just like, oh my god, can someone step in here? But the way that it reads is like, there's literally not a single adult in this city who cares about girls. And like, maybe that's the case, maybe that's really how it is, or maybe it's just like purposely kind of dismissive of that, because the whole point is that it's supposed to be like the girls for themselves, which I get it, but it's just frustrating to read and like sad. Anyway, so another thing about the book, like thoughts about it, as someone who like listens to punk music and like regularly attends punk shows, I really did love the Bikini Kill and Riot Grrrl tie-in. There were maybe some times where I felt like they were overdoing it just like a tiny bit, which like, I don't know. Like, even saying that, I don't know if it was actually overdoing it or if I was just like being picky about it. But like, it makes sense because it was a huge part of like the reason why she did what she did. So yeah, I liked the tie-in. I thought it was cool. Aside or along with that, I really liked how the author referenced and mentioned in the plot line how the Riot Grrrl movement was not inclusive. Like, it was very much so like white feminism. And she like used that to explore how Moxie became not that, like, didn't adopt that part of the Riot Grrrl movement. Like, they were like, okay, we acknowledge that the the white girl movement, basically, that the Riot Grrrl movement was very predominantly focused just on white women. And by acknowledging that, it like led to parts of the story that acknowledged that Moxie was for everyone, not just for white girls. There's a part of a review that I want to read, which I'll like include later, that like talks about more of that from the book, and I think it's really good. So I'll read that later. And then I really enjoyed that the romance aspect was like secondary to the main plot line, and it was also used to develop and question like important topics related to like male allies and things like that. But their romance was not like in the foreground of the story. He's just there. He's just there, you know? So another thing is that if you are going to read this book, obviously it's like related to sexism, so there are trigger warnings. So if that's something that like you care about going into a book and you want to know what you're getting yourself into, you can be expecting like conversations and like literally like this is the biggest part of the book is like talking about sexism and body shaming and sexual assault and things like that. Now, it's never, like, nothing ever explicitly happens. Like, there's not any scenes of, like, okay, well, there are, but not, there's never anything, like, disturbingly graphic, if you're picking up what I'm saying. But, like, there are things that happen. So, yeah, take that as you will. And those are my thoughts on Moxie. I loved it. I literally just rated it 5 stars on Goodreads. It was really good to me. So anyway, now let's watch the movie.
There would be a giant parade. Vivian, put this in the minutes. If we stick together, things are gonna change. Yes. Can't stop, won't stop. Next stop, here Pascal gets the scholarship.
Why do any of them know Bikini Kill? Like, be realistic. What the? I am, like, all my disco ball, the light's hitting it perfectly. It's so cute in here right now. Okay, I am so mad. The actor for Lucy just turned and, like, grabbed another one of the girl's face and just kisses her. And I'm like, they've had no history of flirting or any sort of vibe between them. So in this story, they're saying that just because she was excited and they were dancing, that she could turn around and grab someone's face and kiss it. Like, do you know what you are? And you. Okay. So, I just want to start by saying I hated it. I hated it so much. Like, it was not a horrible movie. It was not a great movie, for sure. But it was not a horrible movie. I just really did not like the adaptation. Like, clearly, I really liked the book, so I was expecting to see something, like, kind of like the book. But apparently, that's not what you get. That's not what you get. You get whatever they wanted. So here are just some of my thoughts. Once again, just word vomit throughout the movie when I was like just writing things down. I really did not like the fact that Seth is not a mysterious new kid in the movie. Like he's just a guy who's always been there. Which I guess like it just simplifies the story, but I like the story. So then also, I noticed the first time in the movie anyone even made a slightly derogatory comment about someone else's body was actually one of the main girls saying it about Seth. And I was just like, I mean, maybe it was in the book. I don't remember that being in the book. I don't remember them making any comments about anyone's body like that, other than the guys who are obviously like the antagonists in the story. I made a note where I said, where the F is the punk music? But then, like, by the time she starts talking about Bikini Kill, then they bring some stuff in. So I'll leave it, or I'll allow it. I understand that, like, it wasn't a part of the plot yet. So the music that they were playing was very not that. I said, not liking the straying from the source material. And I thought it was just going to be, like, a little part of it. It was a big part of it. I said if the adults in the book pissed me off, then the adults in the movie were so much worse. Mostly through like the first part, and like I guess the one redeemable thing about the adults in the movie is that when there was actually like the serious claim of like the sexual assault, like when it was actually not even formally, because in the movie it wasn't formally brought to the teacher's attention, but once like it was brought to their attention who the student was that was being accused, like the principal immediately went to him and was like, you're coming with me. That was not how it happened in the book at all. In the book they were like, well, maybe get over it, basically. And then also another thing about the books or the movie, I thought about it a lot. I don't know if I feel like this is something that I dislike or something that I liked. Well, dislike or am neutral about. I kind of mentioned earlier how the book doesn't talk enough about inclusivity and like intersectionality in their feminism, and the movie, since I mean they're changing so many things from the source material anyway, they actually do those things. But it seems like really shallow. Not shallow and like not that they didn't mean it, but just skimming the surface. You know what I mean? Like if they were gonna bring these things in, I feel like it could have been deeper, but it really wasn't. Like there's a I don't want to say a throwaway comment, but it really like only came up once. So in my head that's a throwaway comment, but I just don't want you to think that I mean throwaway as in like not important. There's a comment from the character that Josie Toda, I think her name is, says, where she's like, they won't let me, like, the teachers won't even call me by my new name. So they're, like, including, like, trans rights and their feminism. And then there's also, like, some comments about, like, from the black girls. So they're including, like, that in their feminism, which obviously is good. But I don't know, like, just on top of me already being upset that they're changing so many things from the book, but I guess of all the things that they're changing from the book, that's, like a good addition, because it is something that I wish that the book explored. But I also wish that the movie was truer to the book. So it's like so what do I want? Did I want them to be true to the book, or did I want them to expand on things that the book missed? You know? Hi, so this is me editing, and I just realized that I didn't talk that much about all of the differences that I disliked from the movie. I like touched on it, and then I went on like a rampage and I forgot about the rest. But I also felt like in the book, the romance aspect was like really minimal. It was definitely used as like a subplot and then also kind of pushed forward some issues in the main plot. But overall, like, that was not what was getting the most time. However, it did convert to a lot of screen time. And I'm thinking it's just because like of the things that they cut out. Like obviously, if a lot of things are removed from the book, but you keep the romance, once you trim everything else away, not everything, but a lot of other things away, you're left with a lot of romance scenes. And it's not even like the plot of it took up the whole movie, but it just got a lot of like the literal screen time. Like I was looking at Nico's face a lot, and I'm not complaining about that. I'm really not. I'm not. He was just there a little more than I expected based off of the book. You know what I mean? Another thing that I really, really disliked from the movie, and this is important because this is one of the things that I like especially loved about the book, is that it kind of sets it up in the beginning where if you're thinking about other tropes, you might like make an assumption about where something's going in the plot, and it doesn't do that. So there's like this part or like early on where Viv is starting to like notice these things about her town and about her school, and it's bringing up and these like questions that she has about like what feminism is, and her best friend of like forever is really not reciprocating those thoughts. She's like, I don't know, you're asking too many questions, and like things should just let things be the way that they are. And it kind of makes it seem like there's going to be some sort of falling out between them, blah blah blah, and they didn't do that. And I really like that because I was like, it would be remiss. Would I be remiss, or would it be remiss? Something would be wrong. Something would be what am I even trying to say? I wouldn't like it if in the or in the book, if a big portion of the plot was like about a girly fight, you know? Like I feel like it's antithetical to the plot and the girls sticking together. And yes, like I'm not saying, oh, girls who have arguments are not feminists. Like that's obviously not what I mean. But with what the book was about, I think the words on the pages are better used not wasting time on the two best friends having a fight and like just being really typical. And it didn't do that. But the movie did. It now, the fight was not like the whole movie or anything. But it honestly, with how short the fight was, that makes it even worse. Because, like, it's short. You made the decision to change this from the book and make them have this fight for that same reason, mind you. Actually, it was even more than that. Because it wasn't just because Viv was getting into, like, what feminism means for her. She was also finding, like, community with these other new girls. And Claudia was jealous because of that. And which the book didn't need that. We didn't need that. The movie needed it, apparently. So, but yeah, with how quickly they made up within the runtime, I just feel like, why'd you even write it in? Like, why? If it was that big of a deal to you, why would you resolve it so easily? Like, we could have surely done without it. So yeah, that's my other gripes with the movie. I kind of mentioned something about the adults, like why I think they're worse in the movie, and I didn't really expand on that. So the last thing that I'll say in me shit talking the movie in this little cutaway is that in the book, like I said earlier, the adults are just kind of like not cognizant of anything going on. Like some of the higher like school authorities are, and obviously like that is a part of the plot or whatever, but the greater adult community just doesn't care, doesn't know. Like individual teachers, there's never anything like no interaction with teachers like acknowledging anything that's going on. Like it'll be one of the guys in the class will say something like really sexist, and then the teachers will just be like, all right, class, settle down. You know, just like typical, just like ignore, like they're like not caring or paying attention to anything going on. But in the movie, they make the effort to have the teachers acknowledge actually
the kind of things that are going on, but still not really doing anything. So, like, Morgan Tukers, which, if you watch the Mindy Project, you know what I'm talking about. He's the teacher in the movie, and he makes multiple comments about, like, oh, well, because you guys are women, I can't say this, or because you guys are women, you're right. Well, like, I really don't know how to explain it. Just didn't didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. They also made the principal a woman instead of the principal in the book was supposed to be the dad of the star football player who's like enemy number one. But yeah, so those are my gripes.
Anyway, all in all, that was not a 5-star movie. Not a 5-star movie. If I'm judging it like separately from the book, I like a cheesy little high school movie. I do. So there's like just something fun and nostalgic about it. So from that point of view, if I didn't read the book and I just watched the movie, I would probably rate it like I don't even know. I would probably rate it like a 3, 2.8, you know? But like thinking about the adaptation and how much I liked the book and like what I wish the movie was, it's like 1 star. It's literally like a 1 star. I understand that when you're making an adaptation, there are different like decisions that you have to make to potentially like simplify the message, get to the point, but I feel like the things that they changed the message. Like I don't feel like the story was the same story. Like this is not my Viv. This is not Vivian. I don't know who that girl is. She's a Vivian, but she is not my Vivian. She just didn't. Her character is just different. Like she's not even the same person. And I feel like I'm trying not because I didn't want this to be spoilery. So I don't want to talk about like the details necessarily of like what they changed. But I'm just not happy with it. Maybe I'll talk about it like at the very end or I mean it doesn't matter. I guess that's the end. That's the end. Okay, so if you want to hear about what I'm reading right now, I'm currently in the middle of finishing My Best Friend's Exorcism by I want to say it's like Gary Hendricks. Gary Gray. Gracie. So My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendricks. I'm really into it right now. It took me a while to like get into the plot, but I finally got to the part that like kind of made me into it. So that's what I'm currently reading. My friends and I want to do a buddy read and read Bunny by Mona Awad in November. However, it's currently November 13th and it's still not available. I have it on hold on Libby and like directly with my library. I feel bad because my friends already have it and I'm the holdup. And then we want to read, I don't know what it is, but like some Kiss Her Once for Me, some like Christmas lesbian book. So we're going to read that in December. But I don't know. So that's basically my like most recent or my most upcoming. I don't think that's a phrase, but that is what I mean. So I'm turning it into a phrase. My most upcoming books that I will be reading are Bunny, My Best Friend's Exorcism, and Kiss Her Once for Me.
Can someone please explain to me why a felting pen is $20?
Okay, so I went in there with the intention of getting a felting pen and getting colors for a blanket for myself. And I just was not thrilled. Like, I know that I looked crazy walking back and forth up and down those aisles like it was the most serious thing in the world. Like, I was deliberating for a very long time. But I just did not find any colors that jived my fancy. That's not a phrase, but I just didn't find any colors that were jiving my fancy. So then I walked away, and then I like did like a really dramatic turn back around, and I was like, but wait, I can make another baby blanket for another baby. So I got these colors because my sister said that my niece's favorite color is yellow. She's definitely not old enough to have a favorite color. Like, I don't know if she can say the word yellow. But if she says it's yellow, then it's yellow. So I I got these colors, and I still have so much lilac from the other baby blanket, so I'm going to incorporate that too. And, oh, okay. Would you believe me if I said that that alarm was like my last call? If you're not out of bed, you need to be out of bed because you have work today. It's 11:55. The fact that I need to have that safeguard an alarm at 11:55 to be like, please get out of bed. But I didn't need it. I didn't need it today. So anyway, these colors, there's like a pink, a really light pink. Does it say colors? No. Oh, sorry. It's blush. So there's blush, and this one is, I'd say, like a tan, but they call it taupe. And then this one's like mustard yellow to me. Oh, and it's mustard yellow to them too. Okay. Anyway, so that's my little yarn haul. I wanted to do some more errands, but there's like some construction at the like 4-way stop sign intersection leading into this strip mall, and I accidentally, I think I want to say I cut someone off, but I don't even know if, like, I don't know car things. It's just that's a phrase. It's one of those things where like I always hear people say it and I think I know what it means, but I'm not sure. But cutting some, I did it, I think. Like the intersection was like really weird and it made my brain stop working. So it was someone else's turn to go and I was like, I think it's me. I think it's me. And it was not me. Like it was very obviously not me. And like she's like, and I'm like, sorry, like I don't know what you want me to do. I messed up. Sorry, like, but yeah, so because of that, like, little experience, I've decided no more errands for me today. I need to go home. So that's what I'm gonna do.